The end of everything is about the existential destruction of the losing side in a war. This is very rare in history. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it should enlighten us how it does, why it does, and can it happen again. Every society is in denial. Every society is narcissistic and egocentric. Their mantra in all of these cases of the past are very similar to the present, and they can be summed up as something along the lines, it won't happen to us. It can't happen here. I was interested in this phenomenon for years because it's the exception, not the rule, in military history. Usually when two opposing nations or states go to war and one loses, there are some types of armistice, arrangements, concessions that allow the defeated to survive and to continue its civilization and its culture. But every once in a while, that does not occur. There are several cases in history of peoples being wiped out, and some of them are recorded in history very graphically. The Melians were wiped out by the Athenians. The Olynthians were wiped out by Philip II. They lose their language, their population, often their infrastructure, their religion, and within 20 to 50 years afterwards, they're completely wiped out. I chose four of the most iconic. I chose classical Thebes that was destroyed in 335 by Alexander the Great, classical Carthage that was wiped out and destroyed down to the foundations in 146 BC by Scipio Aemilianus, majestic city of Constantinople and its civilization that we know as Byzantium that was destroyed by the Ottoman Turks in 1453, and finally, the Mexican capital of Tenochtitlan, the center of Aztec civilization, completely annihilated, destroyed, obliterated by Hernan Cortez in 1521. So in all of these four examples, not only were the targeted peoples deluded about their actual strength vis-a-vis the conquerors, they were deluded because they felt that they were somebody they were not. They had never taken a realistic estimate. It's a frightening lesson for the modern world that any powerful state should not talk about its past successes, but only look at its present ability to defend itself or to create an image of deterrence. And it's not predicated on past successes. In fact, past successes can be a narcotic that dilutes people from the reality and the dangers of the present. I wrote the book in one sense, not just as a historical journey to document the rare cases of a targeted nation being completely destroyed, but as a warning that human nature doesn't change. The delivery system, the weapons that humans use, the types of government, the degree of affluence or technology changes, but the people themselves, our innate nature does not. And what that means is that the destruction of Thebes or Constantinople or Carthage could happen again. In the last 5 or 6 years, I'd noticed that there was more and more existential threats coming from autocratic regimes. The Turkish government was threatening Armenia not just with defeat, but complete destruction. The president of Turkey was threatening the Kurds and the Cypriots and the Greeks. The eliminationist rhetoric from Iran and Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hamas prior to October 7th of 2023 had vastly accelerated. So it was almost commonplace to say the Zionist entity will be destroyed. Israel is a one-bomb state. North Korea had become nuclear, and it was threatening Japan with annihilation. It was threatening the United States with nuclear attacks. Everybody in all of these cases was reacting in the sense that, well, the United States has such a nuclear deterrent, or we're in the 21st century and the United Nations Security Council can handle this. Or these people are just doing it to get money or political concessions, but Iran would never destroy Israel. Russia would never wipe out parts of Ukraine. Turkey would never wipe out the Kurds or the Armenians or attack Greece, much less would they attack Israel. And so in the 21st century of globalization that we thought would create a common humanity and evolved past war, just the opposite effect took place. It was almost as if familiarity created greater contempt. And I would like everybody reading the book to be aware that it can happen here, and it's just as likely as a people would cease to exist or disappear today as it was 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago. And that means that didactically we should learn from the past and protect ourselves in the future.